Hello students and welcome once again. In this video, we are going to continue with the chapter The Adventures of Toto written by Ruskin Bond. Let us first have a quick recapitulation of what we did in the previous day's video. The narrator's grandfather bought a monkey named Toto from a Tonga driver by paying him 5 rupees. The Tonga driver had tied the little red monkey to a feeding trench so that he could not run away. The grandfather had a wish to add him to the group of animals which he had in his own private zoo at home. Toto had bright, shiny eyes which were full of mischief. The eyebrows were deep and clean defined on his face. His teeth were pearl white. Many ladies belonging to the Anglo Indian community got scared when they saw his teeth, which were displayed when he smiled. Toto's hands were dry and cramped, as if they had been dried in the sun like pickles for many years. He had a long tail, which was like the third hand for him. It helped him hang from the branch of a tree. He also used it to lift objects which were beyond his hand's reach. The grandmother was against the grandfather's approach of buying and bringing new pets, birds, and animals. So the grandfather thought that they would hide this fact from her until she was in a good mood. During that particular time, they would disclose it to her. The writer and his grandfather hid and safeguarded Toto in a little store place in the writer's room. In order to be assured that Toto did not escape, they tied him to a peg or hook in the wall. The writer and his grandfather reached out to Toto after a few hours. The sight was really dreadful and shocking. Toto had torn the ornamental wallpaper. He had broken the peg and had run away from his tie. Also, he had torn the writer's blazer into small pieces. So let's begin with the text. I wondered what grandmother would say, but grandfather didn't worry. He seemed pleased with Toto's performance. He's clever, said grandfather. Given time, I'm sure he could have tied the torn pieces of your blazer into a rope and made his escape from the window. His presence in the house still a secret. Toto was now transferred to a big cage in the servants' quarters where a number of grandfather's pets lived very sociably together. A tortoise, a pair of rabbits, a tame squirrel, and, for a while, my pet goat. But the monkey wouldn't allow any of his companions to sleep at night. So, grandfather, who had to leave Dehradun next day to collect his pension in Saharanpur, decided to take him along. Unfortunately, I could not accompany grandfather on that day, on that trip, but he told me about it afterwards. A big black canvas kit bag was provided for Toto. This, with some straw at the bottom, became his new abode. When the bag was closed, there was no escape. Well, the narrator wondered what his grandmother would say, but the grandfather didn't worry. He was perhaps pleased with Toto's performance. He felt that Toto was very clever. He said that if they would have given him more time, he would have tied the thin pieces of the writer's torn blazer into a rope and would have escaped out of the window. Toto was still a secret and was shifted to the servant quarter. He was put in a big cage. He began living with the other pets in grandfather's zoo. The zoo consisted of a tortoise, a pair of rabbits, a squirrel, and the pet goat of the narrator. Toto did not let any of the companion, that is, the animals, sleep at night, as he was very mischievous. The grandfather had to leave for Saharanpur the next day. He therefore decided to take Toto along as he was incontrollable. The narrator unfortunately could not accompany his grandfather. Later, his grandfather narrated everything of the trip to him. A big black canvas kit bag was provided for Toto with some straw at the bottom. It became his new dwelling. When the bag was closed, there was no way to escape from it. So back to the text now. Toto could not get his hands through the opening, and the canvas was too strong for him to bite his way through. His efforts to get out only had the effect of making the bag roll about on the floor or occasionally jump into the air, an exhibition that attracted a curious crowd of onlookers on the Dehradun railway platform. Toto remained in the bag as far as Saharanpur, but while grandfather was producing his ticket at the railway turnstile, Toto suddenly poked his head out of the bag and gave the ticket collector a wide grin. The poor man was taken aback, but with great presence of mind and much to grandfather's annoyance, he said, "Sir, you have a dog with you? You will have to pay for it accordingly." In vain did grandfather take Toto out of the bag. In vain did he try to prove that a monkey did not qualify as a dog or even as a quadruped. Toto was classified a dog by the ticket collector, and 3 rupees was the sum handed over as his fare. Then grandfather, just to get his own back, took from his pocket a pet tortoise and said, "What must I pay for this, since you charge for all animals?" So now the explanation. He could neither come out of the opening, nor could he bite the strong canvas in order to escape. Still, Toto made futile attempts to come out of the bag. Due to such protection, he could only roll with the bag on the floor or it would occasionally jump in the air. These suspicious movements were noticed by the people on the railway platform and made them curious to know what was there inside the bag. Toto remained inside the bag with grandfather till Saharanpur. At Saharanpur railway station, the grandfather was taking out his ticket to cross the turnstile. At that time, Toto popped out of the bag and grinned at the ticket collector. The ticket collector was dumbfounded to see a monkey with a grandfather. Well, but with a great presence of mind, asked the grandfather to pay the ticket money for carrying a dog in his travel. The grandfather failed in convincing the ticket collector that Toto was a monkey and not a dog. He insisted that Toto was not even a quadruped, that is, an animal with 4 feet. But the ticket collector was firm to classify Toto in the category of dogs. Grandfather had to pay 3 rupees for Toto's ticket. The grandfather was disappointed, and to avenge the ticket collector, he took out his pet tortoise from his pocket and asked if he had to buy a ticket for it too, since he had charged for all animals. Now let's check out the new words that we have encountered in the text so far. The first word is sociably, which means in an amiable or friendly manner. The next word is abode, which means a living or a dwelling place, that is, a home. Then we have turnstile, which means a mechanical gate consisting of revolving horizontal arms fixed to a vertical post, allowing only one person at a time to pass through. Next word is annoyance. It means To make someone anger. The next word is vain, which means an unsuccessful attempt. The next word is quadrupt, which means an animal which has 4 feet. The next word is fair, which means ticket price. The last word is to get his own back, which is an idiom, which means to take revenge. Well, that's all in this video. I hope you have understood the text that we have covered so far. In the next video, we shall cover the concluding part of the story. Till then, don't forget to subscribe the channel and ring the notification bell. Thank you for watching the video.